darkness, shadows, and soul light. The floor below where I met Iovara was all this. I never expected my soul to light up the entire place. There were several places beyond where we had access to that were lit up as well. Then memories. My memories. Memories of Thaos and Iovara, and finally the last time they both met, which was many of my lives ago. Ahead of us lie the souls in question, and hopefully Thaos himself. I've been focusing on the ultimate mental power that my master had taught me. Amplified Wave. Manifests the target's allies' mental strengths and projects them outward forcefully, causing a shockwave that inflicts damage and knocks down any in the area. I've also been focusing on the skill Draining Whip, which regenerates focus more quickly. Alright, we have become very skilled. I think it's possible to confront Thaos and defeat him. Ahead is the only place to go. It's like another machine, an ancient Nguithan machine. I've come to a circular room, grand and domed, its walls lined with Adra and trimmed with copper. At the far end, a great pillar of Adra pierces the floor from below like a ragged spike, its shimmering texture giving the illusion of boundless depth. My thoughts are mine and not mine, and they are all questions. The base of the pillar stands Thaos, a look of concern on his face as he notes my approach. I have something I want to ask him. One question above all others, spinning madly in my mind, but I don't dare ask it yet. I need some admission from him first, some hint of the veracity of my suspicions.
You are far from your post, Inquisitor. What brings you here?
My mind races, weighing different angles of approach, my emotions barely in check. What is this place? I've been here before.
We are in a sanctum holy to Utica. There are others like it in service to the other gods. I come here often to pray for her counsel, and in this space I may be assured that she hears me.
Was Iovara telling the truth?
That woman sought only to destroy the foundations of peace and civility that my people sacrificed everything to build.
Your people? That machine behind you, what does it do?
It has many uses, but its purpose is to bring structure to the chaos that surrounds it.
All these statues, who are they of?
They are monuments to Woodica's greatest servants among my people. I hope to join them myself one day, but my work is not yet complete.
Was the entire Inquisition based on a lie?
The Inquisition was based on the need to cut the flesh from a rotting wound.
I'm shaking now, having lost all patience for tact. No more evasions. I have to know everything I believed, everything I have done for the gods. Did you lie to me when you said the gods could end suffering? He says nothing. Are there no gods?
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked? Something men can turn to in their darkest moments when their days seem only like bridges from one tragedy to the next. Our gods are all these things.
With Thaos' every word, I find myself losing control of a boiling cauldron of rage and doubt and fear and hopelessness, until I can take it no more. Are there no gods?
We are in a sacred place within earshot of the gods themselves. This is not the time. You've been through much these past few months. You will return home and you will rest. When you feel you have recovered, you may rejoin us at the trials. The Inquisition is far from over, and I will have need of you. There are many who continue to spread the lies of the apostate. The Inquisition will not end until we have pronounced judgment on all of them.
His eyes linger on me, and there is no mistaking the threat behind it, and my rage shrinks at the image of an iron wheel in my mind, monolithic and caked with the dried blood of thousands. I do not ask my question again.
How did you find it?
I didn't. It was Lady Webb.
Another in a string of acts of petty defiance. For all her knowledge, she always preferred spite over reason.
She loved you.
Then she should have obeyed. I ask one thing of all my followers. She was incapable. A waste of rare talent and intellect.
Blind obedience is a lot to ask of someone with a mind of their own.
What of your cohorts, then? They have followed you to their deaths. Is it loyalty that brings them here? Or is it, as my agents suggest, that they have no direction of their own?
You have no idea.
You worshipped Aethys, did you not?
He regards Ader.
Your spies are good. What gave me away? The cape?
Yet when your god needed you the most, you chose your country.
Ader frowns, irritated.
We were being invaded. Not by anyone who was acting like a god.
Then I should think your hometown gave you a hero's welcome when you returned.
They made cake. Hard to blame people for losing faith when it's the gods who are misbehaving.
The gods argue over how best to prevent Kith society from destroying itself. These disruptions would not be necessary were mortal instinct not so diseased.
You're one to talk. Durrance stares at Thaos with a beast snarl. Thaos watches him calmly.
You built a weapon that delivered exactly as promised.
I served my goddess as you did yours.
Yet the other builders were slain, 11 of a dozen. Why not you? Were you somehow different? Redeemable in your god's sight?
Whatever desire I had to be redeemed in her eyes was weakness, purged by the Watcher's sight.
Or was it merely that your goddess wanted you dead as well, and your delusions of importance prevented you from seeing the obvious?
A whore's beguiling charms, nothing more. But the spell's broke now, Thaos. The trial's over. I know friend from foe, and I've come here now to see a foe repaid.
You were able to destroy a god because another god wished it. Without her hand to guide you, you could not strike at a god any more than you could strike the sky. You are impotent, and not just from the pox. I understand your Duke's bells gave you a mission.
He's looking at Pelagina now.
Their orders do not absolve me of my greater responsibility to the safety and well-being of the Republics.
You might want to skip over this one, Thaos. Don't want to pick a fight you can't win.
Yet you disobeyed. Something you already have a reputation for. They will know, of course. If it had been for a worthy cause, they might have forgiven you. But I don't see them pursuing animancy after seeing what it's done here. They trusted you, and you disappointed, as you always have. And you will again be disowned.
The parents scold, but the children are safe. Whether animancy research continues in the Republics or not, they will survive. For now, that's enough. In any case, I wouldn't be so smug about my fate, Thaos. I imagine Woodica responds to disappointment much more severely than even my dukes.
State your name and purpose, young acolyte.
At the sight of Aloth, Thaos' mouth twitches derisively.
My name belonged to the gods, and my hand to their service. No more.
His eyes darken.
You serve none but yourself. Without contact with your order, you can have no higher purpose. Only the base concerns of the flesh. You have cast yourself from our ranks.
And I should have done it years before. I'd rather live in uncertainty than servitude.
And that uncertainty would lead you where it leads everyone. To doubt, to emptiness, to the many cruelties inspired by disbelief. You will have to forgive your Grandmaster for remaining skeptical of his initiate's choices. You are far from home, dwarf.
I knew my hunt would send me a long way from Masuk. It was a challenge I was glad to undertake for my village.
A journey, then? It must be of some import to take you so far and to last so long.
It's important to Masuk, and so it's important to me.
You are here because you are lost. The gods cannot reach everyone, I'm afraid. May you fare better in your next lives.
He directs his gaze at me.
I gather you have had your soul awakened. Why else would you shadow my footsteps like some stray mongrel? You think I have something to offer you, but our business was concluded long ago.
What do you know of our business?
You think your abilities only flow in one direction. That isn't how it works, I'm afraid. Not for me. For all that you saw of my soul in the sanitarium, I saw as much of yours.
Our business will conclude when you have told me all I wish to know.
I answered your questions once. That your soul is not fit to accept the answers is of little concern to me. I lied to no one. Not to you, not to anyone. The gods are real. They are everything we need them to be, and the world is better for it.
You have lied to everyone, yourself most of all.
I have no illusions about the costs involved. But what your brief lifespan obscures is that it is what must be done. The heart of this country has skipped a beat, nothing more. I have done far worse. I plunged the peaceful kingdom of Telosus into civil war. I slew the monarch of Desantio, whose people never knew hardship under his rule, and replaced him with a cruel despot who brought them to ruin. When plague arrived at the great city of Arborensis, I saw to it that the cure did not. They piled their dead outside the city in heaps that rose above their walls.
This is supposed to diminish the damage you've done here?
It is to show the proper perspective. There was a time, back when your soul was still a shapeless mist, when the world believed only in false gods. Thousands of them. Gods that told them to take slaves. Gods that told them to make war upon their neighbors and devour the slain. Gods that told them to burn their children alive and cover themselves in the ashes as a sign of their faith.
Sounds like we were better off without any gods, including the ones we have today.
But all that changed when they learned of the true gods. Our gods. All those misshapen, bestial instincts melted beneath the radiance of our God's majesty. You could see it in their eyes. That dull emptiness replaced with the glimmer of a kindled spark.
Teaching them there were no gods would have achieved the same purpose.
And replaced it with one far worse.
What? Aimlessness?
Have you imagined this existence? The one the apostate would have created. We are not all so virtuous as she. Without our gods, the most wicked, the most tyrannical, they would take that power for themselves.
It seems the same thing has happened anyway.
But more than that, it would be a hollow existence. All mysteries forever unanswered. All purposes constructed from meaninglessness. No endings to bring closure. Only a wheel, turning without mercy, grinding our spirits to dust.
You underestimate people.
For all my years, I have seen exactly what they are capable of. What the apostate asked was beyond any man.
I don't believe that. You've only seen what it's like to have gods controlling us.
All I have seen, the millennia of experience. I will not be dissuaded from this course. this is the only way.
You are blind to think yours is the only way. You are controlled by your own doubts.
We are all controlled by our own doubts. Better that we should be relieved of them. With your soul and thousands of others, I will see this world purged of its suffering. Hear me, Woodica. Your servant calls for aid.
Thaos puts his hands out to either side as though welcoming some unseen guest. He shuts his eyes and casts his face skyward.
Roak 10!
Alright. No one said this would be easy. Look at the giant statues coming to us. Pelagina, take the one to the north. Ader, take the one to the east. The rest of us focus on Thaos if we can.
I'm ready.
What?
Beyond.
Seek!
I'm here.
Hi?
Thaos has been temporarily controlled. Now he's back under his own control.
Oh, thank
Can't get a good shot with this.
Let's go!
enough of it.
That hurt.
Curses!
Durance. Heal yourself. Thaos has gone into one of the statues. Okay, time to bring them down.
Dead on!
Varu, beyond seek! That's not very helpful.
Freros! Ceres! Freros! Ceres!
Keep them occupied.
But almost.
I shall.
What?
That rock! These ones are in for a wallop!
Keep them occupied.
Can't get a good shot with this.
Curses!
One's down.
Oeth Ixinana!
Don't get too close to that thing.
Fine.
Let's go! Let's go!
Can't get a good.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
What? What?
That's not very helpful.
Let's go! Let's go!
After an east.
That's not very helpful.
There's a...
This one's about to fall apart. Cracks all through it.
Let's go!
Thaos will come back to his body, which is he's doing right now.
Lavaru, be on seek!
Sit down. You're okay.
Lavaru.
I fear we've lost the angry one. How many?
Now unleash the beetles. And the spiders. And everything else we hold.
Hey,
Bring it all out.
I'm ready.
Aye?
He felt that. Keep at it.
hey.
Sagani, move. He's injured. Keep at him.
Ready.
How may I help?
Ready. What? Careful. Get a good shot with this.
Keep hitting him.
Lavaru, be on seek!
Hey,
Lavaru.
beyond seek. Artek, Worth, and Raw. Hey.
I'm ready.
Moeth X. See Anna.
Can't get a good shot with this.
Lava Ruby. Lava.
Artek, Worth, and Raw.
How may I help?
Lava Ruby.
I have failed.
We've done it. At my feet rests the body of Thaos, hollow, the dense wrinkles shaped by the silent shouldering of an eternal burden now smoothed across his color-drained face. His soul remains still for the moment, defenseless, its energy expended in defeat. It lies sprawled across his body like a death shroud.
That's the servant down, and the mistress still to go. A good start, worthy of being built upon.
Well, hey, I agree to take down Thaos and restore the souls, but not to start taking down gods now.
After journeying for lifetimes, I can't imagine his failure, knowing it was all for nothing.
And he was close.
In his own way, Thaos must have truly believed he was caring for the people of Eora, protecting them from themselves. A shame his soul won't have a chance to reflect on his errors before it enters the wheel.
Some point, you have to look at the things your god is telling you to do. And ask yourself if it's worth it.
It certainly wasn't for him.
He spent his lives, more than any of us will ever know. For what? Binding the world to a lie. Could a man like that ever be redeemed?
Explore Thaos' soul. With a deep breath, I plunge into Thaos' soul, and where in Brackenberry it had been a maze of narrow corridors and dead ends, now it is expansive and borderless, its walls crumbling into heaps like the ruins of Engwith as I pass through them. I travel for what seems like ages, rushing to a known destination, a memory I glimpsed once before. At last I see it, no more than a pinprick of light at the end of a long tunnel, expanding slowly at first, then quickly as I near. I come out in the room I am standing in now, but it is new and pristine and filled with people, thousands of them, all turned towards the great Audra pillar and the machine that encases it. Thaos stands at the machine, and I am one with him now. I look out at the crowd, at faces of shriveled old men and cherub-cheeked little girls, at mothers bouncing infants to quiet them and fathers clasping their children's restless hands and watching me with somber acceptance. A woman with tears in her eyes gives me a small nod. I turn back towards the machine, my breast constricted beneath the weight of unwanted knowledge, preparing myself to set out alone on a journey without end. I close my eyes and open them again to find the machine still in front of me, beckoning. I take my place in front of it and place my hands upon a large mechanical disc at the base of the great crystal column and speak a single word. Giant rings creak to life, building speed, setting arrays of carved draconic mouths aglow and sending tremors through the platform beneath me. The entire room shakes now with the force of the accelerating machine, all sound drowned out by its deep, deafening thrum. brilliant tendrils of light arc outward from the pillar in all directions, and I look over my shoulder to see them engulfing the crowd, burning them brightly like hot iron. One by one, the tendrils disappear, leaving ashen effigies where people once stood, many of them disintegrating into gray heaps under the stress of the tremors. I look above to the Adra pillar, and a glowing spherical mass has begun to coalesce atop the column where the arcs converge. It grows and pulses, translucent and bulbous like some immense chrysalis, suspended in slow motion as though it were being spun from the arcs of light. When the last arc disappears, the spectral mass hangs a moment, no longer rotating so bright I must shield my eyes with an outstretched hand, and it seems to me as though it is looking at me. I bow my head in acknowledgement and look back up to see it melt into the pillar like warm candle wax. The pillar flares with a flash of light bright as the sun itself, then fades to darkness. The machine slows down to an abrupt halt, and when the last echoes of its grinding cogs has passed, the chamber is still, and I am alone. From all sides, reality begins to bleed in through the memory, and I find myself in my own skin once more, looking down on Thaos' lifeless body. I sense a listlessness to Thaos' soul, an overwhelming fatigue that hinders its immediate escape and makes it vulnerable to manipulation. I feel as though my victory has given me some kind of hold over it, and I am able to do with it as I please. I will banish his soul to breathe Iman. Thaos ix arcanon. There can be no forgiveness for your deeds, only justice. You shall escape judgment no longer.
To apply the teachings of Durance would more immediately satisfy the cravings in my bones. But this is the stronger lesson, for his soul is already marked by his own hand.
Perhaps this is the best place in the world for Thaos. Somewhere he can't cause further harm. Still, you eventually found the Ovara. What is a few thousand years to someone like him?
I regard Thaos' soul, still and subdued, and my pronouncement seems to empower my spirit. My will seems to me now a thick chain, and I wind it around Thaos, constraining all movement, eliminating any possible last means of resistance. I call to mind the eternal prison, the vast empty cavern, and its cells of Adra, vacated by souls that chose to betray themselves in order to escape an infinite abyss of hopeless self-reflection. I chose a vacant pillar, and pour my consciousness into it, creating a perfect, inescapable hollow with space for one. And now I gather up Thaos' soul and bear it to the pillar like some bodiless jailer conjured by justice itself. I can feel its resistance now, the abject terror radiating from it, but my bindings will not be broken. When at last it is sealed away, and I begin to recede back to my center, I can almost swear I hear a distant, wordless cry for mercy. In the stillness that follows, a single word echoes through my mind, a word I spoke when I were one with Thaos in that ancient memory. I realize it is the word that activates the machine. I wanted to destroy his soul, but I think justice is better served this way.
Right.